Sal Paolantonio joins us live from L.A., where the Eagles and Rams are getting ready for a very key NFC matchup. But here locally, Sal, the L.A. Lakers will be in town, so I'll be sure to have Pete over here video me as I talk to Lonzo Ball tonight.
That sounds good.
Yeah, but he won't have, as good a suit as you wear,
no,
Sal. That'll be the difference.
I don't think so. Although I did like the jacket you had on TV last night.
Thank you very much. So I'm at the Eagles Hotel, and they're having lunch right now and gathering, and headed down to Anaheim headed up to Anaheim. We're in Costa Mesa, Orange County, so it's about a 15 to 20-minute drive up to Angel Stadium. They practiced there yesterday, which was really kind of cool. It was just a cool scene, especially after practice was over, to interview some of the players under the lights on the football field that has been laid over the baseball field. It's a pretty interesting scene here. Obviously the vibe is different because they lost to Seattle, but I think that they've done a good job of acclimating to staying out here, keeping things the same as they normally would on a normal week, with the exception of the weather is fantastic. But there is the pall hanging over, the wildfires in Ventura and LA counties.
Right. Yeah, and that's not affecting their practices, but it is affecting the Rams' practice, right, Sal?
Yes, the Rams' practice field is Cal State Lutheran in Thousand Oaks, which is about 30 miles south of the Ventura fire, which is the big one, which has destroyed about 250 homes in Ventura County. My parents actually used to live in Thousand Oaks. I know it well. It's extremely dry there, and the winds come off the mountains, and it makes it for a very dicey situation. I've actually been there when there have been fires before in the early 80s. So I know what it's like there, and it can get pretty scary pretty quick. So, they're practicing indoors now. Ventura County is obviously north of Los Angeles County, but there's 3 fires in Los Angeles County, one of which has closed down a section of the 405 freeway, which is the most heavily trafficked road in America, congested road in America, and that has caused major traffic problems in LA County. And those fires have closed down the practices for UCLA football and the University, UCLA.
Wow.
Now, UCLA is about 15 miles from the USC campus, which is where the Coliseum is. The Coliseum is 15 miles southeast of UCLA. So right now there isn't any indication that air quality is an issue around USC and the Coliseum. But I did talk to Brian McCarthy yesterday. He's the Vice President for Communications at the NFL. And he said they were definitely monitoring the situation. He said, quote, "We are not going to put fans or players in danger, and we're keeping a close eye on the fires."
Really good stuff. Sal Paolantonio is in Costa Mesa with the Eagles side of things. And, Sal, they lose that game on Sunday night, and now they've got to stay on the road. They don't get to come home and kind of regroup. They've got to stay out there. And do you see a team, you've been around this team a lot this year, do you see a team that has that we got punched in the mouth kind of mentality, or are they loose getting ready for this Rams matchup, which is a very key game for home field advantage in the NFC?
Absolutely. I would not say loose. I would say this team learned a very valuable and painful lesson, and I think they're beginning to feel a little bit of pressure.
Now, obviously, the game the other night, they looked like a team that didn't have that aggressive, right? The aggressive nature that they've had going into that. So how do you read into that with Doug Peterson? Was that Doug Peterson, the bright lights a little bit, or just you got to give credit to Seattle?
Well, I think, Seattle's front four was not going to let them run. And their linebacking core, is sideline to sideline and violent. And the Eagles weren't ready to handle that. Big B did not have a good game at left tackle. We all know that. Mm-hmm. And I think Carson Wentz was feeling a little bit of the pressure. They did rack up 400 yards, but it was kind of fool's gold because they only got 10 points. The goal of the game is getting the end zone. Carson Wentz doesn't fumble that ball down near the goal line. I mean, you hate to pin it on one guy and one play and one miscue, but it pretty much, Mike, comes down to that play, I think. I think that play was a momentum and confidence killer.
I would concur. In fact, I said, a lot of people banging on Peterson that he was a little conservative, but even if he's conservative, if Wentz makes a couple throws and doesn't fumble that ball, we might be having a different conversation today.
I agree with you, Mike, 1,000%.
Sal, this Rams team has kind of come out of nowhere, too. They have been one of the worst franchises. Previously in St. Louis, they moved to L.A. Nobody seems to care about them. And how did they get here? How are they 9-3 in the conversation for home field advantage?
They got a lot of talent, a lot of first-round picks. They got a coach who knows what he's doing in Sean McVay. They're playing complementary football. They're running the ball. And, it's funny because I asked Malcolm Jenkins last night. We did an on-field interview after practice, and we were talking about Wentz versus Goff and Carson versus Jared. And I said, what kind of message do you send to a young quarterback? And he said, stop Gurley. And I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. If you, put the hammer down on Gurley and then blitz Goff, then you can control the line of scrimmage and control what they do offensively. They're scoring 30 points a game just like the Eagles.
Yep.
And they have consistently put up a lot of points. And what it comes down to is third and fourth quarter, teams get tired of Gurley hammering at them. This is going to be a four-quarter game. And here's the interesting thing, Mike. So the game is 1:25 Sunday if it comes off on time. So it's supposed to be in the mid-80s.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's
a lot of extraneous factors to this game.
That's something that you don't even consider when you're over here. Right? I mean, that's not something we on the East Coast really even consider that much, that a game now could be played in 80-degree weather.
1 in the afternoon, 80-degree weather.
Wow. Sal Pao's in.
Hot
yes.
And dry. It's hot and dry here now. It's getting hot. It's getting warmer and warmer each day, and it's getting drier and drier each day. There's a major problem here with hot, dry, and high winds.
Sal, you said that you wouldn't say the Eagles are loose, that they kind of have a little bit of tightness in there, knowing that things are getting real right now. But how about Peterson the other night and Malcolm Jenkins insinuating that they weren't all that thrilled with the week of preparation last week?
Yeah, no, they've had 2 bad weeks of practice in a row. I think I might have mentioned it on your program where Peterson told me that he wasn't happy with the practice prior to the Bears game.
Yep.
They had those 2 fumbles on Friday before the Bears game. So, the canary in the coal mine in the Bears game was what? The 11 penalties and the 3 fumbles.
Yep.
And it came back to haunt them against Seattle. We said it. We said it. The warning signs were there. If you want to do that stuff against the Bears, you probably can get away with it against the Bears at home against a rookie quarterback in Mitchell Trubisky. You're not going to get away with it up in Seattle against an MVP candidate quarterback, Russell Wilson, and a defense that feels like it's disrespected and wants to get make sure people know who they are.
Well, a lot of people after that loss, of course, the people hit the panic button, and that theory that the Eagles have not played the toughest schedule, is that a fair conversation to have?
Not yet, Mike. I'm just going to say it, Mike. I think this is a must-win game.
Yeah. Well, they're going to be in the playoffs. You're talking about for home field.
Yes, I'm talking about this one. Yeah. No, I think it's a bounce back game. They got to bounce back.
All right, Sal. By the way,
I think that Giants team is going to be bouncing back, and that comes up pretty quick.
Sal Pal, ESPN on Instagram. Check out his instant analysis for this game in LA.
Mike, on Sal Pal ESPN Instagram, I've got videos from here and pictures from here. People should go on and check it out. Sal Pal ESPN on Instagram.
Sounds like, and a lot of the things we've been seeing all over the scene out there seems to be pretty surreal in that LA area.
It's nice to be out here. It's nice to be out here, Mike, but there's one big problem. No Dunkin' Donuts.
You're kidding me. They don't have Dunkin' Donuts
No,
out
they got like Randy's, and that's
I'm telling you, it's a big problem when you come out here. There's no Dunkin' Donuts.
Sal Paolantonio.
You ask Siri where's the nearest Dunkin' Donuts, and she says, Camden, New Jersey.
We'll have to change that next week. Sal, in L.A., in Costa Mesa with the Eagles for Sunday's game. You can hear the game right here on 97.3 ESPN. So you say it's a must-win.
Hey, Pete, don't forget to press record tonight, okay, Pete?
You got it, Sal. I'll hit the big red button.
Well,
show him how to press record, all right, Pete?
That sounds good. I got it, Sal. I got it.
I gave him
I gotta go, guys. All right, I'll talk to you.